Hello, I am here to show off my Unity game. I already made like a few videos and a lot, like I'm trying to get it below the time limit because it's taking like 20 minutes to show off everything, so I'll just get started. Um, I'll just go ahead and say how I started. So I started off with getting the player, and I downloaded a asset package that had tile sets, that had players and animations and everything that I needed. So that was the easiest part. Was actually getting the stuff I need. I was watching a tutorial online, and they helped me out a lot with the whole process. But the character I got was the Blue Samurai from the Ninja Adventure Asset Pack, and so you can see here, he's just a little guy. 16 by 16 is the pixels per bit. And what I had to do for this is I had to set the sprite mode to multiple for both of these. And I did point no filter and compression size to none in order to get them actually looking right and looking crisp and not blurry. And then I went here and I sliced them up 16 by 16 so I have each individual piece split out, which honestly, really easy to do. You just open slice, put in how much. You don't do automatic, you do grid by cell size. And then you do 16 by 16 and you hit slice. And then you hit apply. I did that for that. I did that for this. I did that for the tile sets as well. And so after that, I actually added the animations. And so for the player animations, where did they go? Here they are, animations. Can I make it play? No, it doesn't look like it. But each one has its own whole animation, uh, whether it be walking to the left, walking to the right. I'll show those off here in a bit. And that was also decently easy to do. Uh, and then after that was a little bit more complicated. It was actually making the whole tile set and the whole map, which took a minute because I'm new. And I think I could do it definitely a lot faster now. But start off by making a plan. I have a bunch of different layers. I have the ground layer, which is just what you're looking at right here. It's literally just the ground. So you can see each layer I select highlights the tiles that have it. So after that, I made a collision one that is the area in which my character can run into and not go through. Something my maze didn't have in the first project. In order to do that, I had to make a tile collider and a rigid body for the tile set. After that, I made the walk in front of. This is just something that when your character goes on it, they walk in front of it and they don't. It's supposed to be like a ground layer, but like it functions the same as a ground layer, but it's supposed to be with actual items, you know? So that's like mainly your stairs or like that. After that, I've got the walk behind, which you can see the dojo sign. You can see the tops of things are all walk behind like that, like this house, like this. So that's kind of simple. And then the decoration layer, that's just something like this mailbox. It goes over top everything else, but it doesn't interfere with anything. Um, yeah, the biggest trick was definitely getting everything laid out and figured out what needs to have collision, what needs to be walk behind, what needs to be walk in front of, and really just be having a smooth process through that whole thing. Next thing I did was I did the Cinemachine. So this is the whole camera, and this makes it to where whenever I walk around as my character, the camera follows it, takes me to all the places, and doesn't just sit here and look at the dojo. I had to write some script for that, not too much though. It was mainly just to do with the map bounds. I have two different map bounds. I have the dojo and I have the town. Each one has like a kind of cross section or whole section in which the camera can stay inside. You can see that here. And the code I had to write for it was with these little waypoints here. I had to make a code in order to have the camera actually transfer. So when he's here, oh hey, he's in this version. But once he actually hits the on trigger, which I have each one clicked as an on trigger, then he goes into whichever trigger he activated. One would be like this one is, oh yeah, I can show this off here. I have a little field right here that says, hey, what map transition am I actually using? And once I put that in, it does this cool little thing where it brings me over to here. And I can just click and drag something into that, and it tells it what exactly I'm doing. So with this, you can see it right here. When my character goes over this, it switches my camera to the town camera, and vice versa with this one. As you can see, this one makes to where I go to the dojo, the D1, and this one makes to where I go over to the town. After that, I started setting up the UI, and this took a minute. I don't have a fully fledged UI really. I've just got really the settings, but this was a lot of just menu going until I actually got to the save functions. But I'll go over that after. I'll go over all the code later. But for now, let me just actually show off what I can do with it. So you click play on here and it starts up the game. I currently have it over here, but let me go back. As you can see, I'm sectioning between areas. I hit this little section right here and up, I pop into the dojo. And here's the collision. I can show off that. Here's the walking behind. So now this actually feels like it's a post. Walking behind here, running into the fence. I can't go through the walls. Can't go through here. As you can see, I have animation and the menu system. So I don't really have anything set up for the player inventory or map, but I do have a save setting. So as you saw earlier, I start in the town upon save or upon starting the game. That's because last time I played, I saved it to where I was in there. If I go back down to the dojo, go to my menu, click save, all of a sudden, when I stop and start again, I'm in the dojo. That's how the save function works. Now to go into the code. So let me start off with the player movement script. So for this, I have the player. As you can see, I've already got a field right here. This is for the player movement. It's a serialized field. That's how it shows up, as it being serialized. And this is saying he's got a movement of 5. And then on start, this is saying, hey, I've got the animations of I'm just idle. And then got the whole thing set up of which directions, which inputs I'm using, if I'm using certain inputs, which way I'm going. And I'll show you that here in a second. But basically, if I'm not walking, then it saves my last inputs and shows me, like, say I was hitting D and I was moving to the right, then it says, oh, hey, I was last moving to the right. So when I stop and go into my idle animation, I'm still looking right instead of just looking straight forward. So to look at that, I have this here. So this is me, that's the entity. Upon start, it's saying I'm idle. I don't have any last inputs. I don't have any current inputs, but I'm idle. It keeps checking to make sure I'm idle, and I have the idle animation. I start moving, however, all of a sudden I'm getting inputs, right? And say I'm walking to the right and I stop moving, my last input was that. That means I'm going to stay in this position. I'm still idle. But now it's that. That's how the animation works for that. That's the player one. And then let's go to the let's go to the save function. I'll show you the save function as the last thing. I'll just show you save data. So save data is a very basic script. It's just saying what I want to save inside the save data is the player position and the player boundary, or the map boundary. That's just saying, oh hey, my player is in this position and he is in boundary D1. Okay. Then I go to controls, and this is where everything gets a little more complicated. So I come over here. I've got on start. This is saying where I have the save location. This is telling me to load that save location that I got from over here. When I hit the save game function, this is where it actually saves the player's position and the player boundary and writes it all to the JSON file. When I go to start the game and actually load it on start, that's where it actually pulls something from the files. Like if the file exists in the save location where I just showed you, then it pulls out the JSON file and it pulls out the player position and it pulls out the map boundary position. Make sense? So yeah, that's my Unity project. I kind of had to rush through it because of the time limit, but I had a ton of fun doing this. And I'm definitely going to keep going into doing Unity stuff because games are cool. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one.